Okay, so we learned how to write chemical formulas. I like to call this next chapter the mathematics of chemical formulas. So, perhaps I forgot to tell you, you should always have out two things: calculator and a periodic table. My bad, I forgot to tell you, and I say that with all sarcasm. Good for you, you're a good girl. Bad girl, bad. Some of you are bad people. You don't have your calculators out. Because if we're going to call this the mathematics of chemical formulas, guess what we're going to need? Okay, the target for today is, hey, if I give you a formula or just a name, can you find for me the formula or molecular mass for it? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What is the molecular mass of hydrogen gas? All right, what I want you to do is imagine you're in the chemistry store. And on the shelf you have all the different compounds that can ever be found. So if you need some hydrogen gas, you put the hydrogen gas can into your buggy. If you need some calcium chloride, you put some calcium chloride in your buggy. So when you go to the checkout counter, there are no UPC codes on anything. So the girl has to actually look it up on her special sheet. That special sheet is the periodic table. Imagine that the formula, the atomic masses that are below the symbol of your periodic table, that is how much they cost. That is how much, actually that is their mass. That is, but if you imagine that that's what they're worth, then you'll realize that the young lady is going to have to add up all the individual atoms of your formula and give you the total. And you have to pay for the total. Okay, so if you have a can of hydrogen, the most important thing you can come up with here is a correct chemical formula. What is the formula for hydrogen?
1.
No. H plus is wrong. H2 is correct. Because you forgot something that I told you you had to remember. That there are 7 elements on the periodic table that when they're in their natural state always come as a twosome. I remember it by the acronym Brother Huncliffe. So if I say it's hydrogen gas, your formula has to be H2. All right, so you go to checkout. You imagine that you're the checkout clerk, Morgan. What is hydrogen worth?
Hydrogen is like H1.
The atomic mass, my dear. That's the atomic number. The number below the symbol. 1.0. You must always keep it to one decimal place. How many hydrogens, Morgan? No, that's the mass. 2 hydrogens at a price of 1.0. Total molecular mass is, Morgan? 2 times 1.0.
2.0.
Excellent. Notice she did not even use a calculator for that one. The units is going to be a made-up unit called atomic mass units, or AMU. Why? Why do we not measure with grams? Because the number would be to the negative 24th. That would be tedious. Always putting down everything to the negative 24th. So chemists came up with a mass unit for measuring the mass of atoms. They called it atomic mass units, or AMU, or just U for short. Okay? So U will be the unit that we will use for these things. Keep it always to one decimal place. Mortally wounded. Do this next one. Dihydrogen monoxide. What is the chemical formula for dihydrogen monoxide, mortally wounded? No. Formula. Keeping in mind that if you get this formula wrong, everyone will get it wrong. Monoxide? Oh. All right, so how many hydrogens do you want to buy? At a price of? Equals? How many oxygens do you want to buy? At a price of? Equals? You may need a calculator for this. 2.0 plus 16.0. Dang. He was able to do it without a calculator. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, Marie, I'll have you do a harder one. Give me the formula mass for aluminum nitrate. Marie, before you start on this chemical formula, I want you to remember one word. You ready? Ready, Marie? Distributive. Okay, now, let's go. Aluminum nitrate. No pressure, but if you get this formula wrong, then we all get this wrong.
Okay. Let's try this. Okay. Al for aluminum. And then in brackets, NO.
Or parentheses.
What did I say?
Brackets.
That's what I've done. Same step. NO3, close bracket, 3. Why is it 3? Brackets and parentheses.
Because aluminum is plus 3, nitrate is negative 1, you'll need 3 of them. Okay? How many aluminums do you need?
You need 3 of them.
Excuse me?
3. Wait, 1. I have to charge 3. So you need 1.
At a price of?
27.0.
Equals?
27.0.
All right. Do you remember the key word? What was the key word? Distributive. All right, continue. How many nitrogens do you need? Distributive. 3 nitrogens at a price of?
14.0.
Equals?
42.0 units. And then we need 9 oxygens at a price of 16. And I'm going to use my handy calculator because I can't do 16.
I bet Mortal could do it. Mortal.
It's 144.0 units. I didn't know my calculator.
She didn't give you a chance.
I would have gotten it.
You would have.
Hey, what's up?
Marie.
Hey, bro.
Hold this. 223 units. 0 units.
200 and what?
213. Check it.
I don't think that's right.
Point oh.
I bet that Mortal would have done that one like this.
I'm gonna check it.
Like
Is it more to
that.
eight?
He's a walking calculator. Any questions? All right, let's do another one. Lenoir. Formula mass for calcium hydroxide. Keeping in mind that if you get this formula wrong, we're going to start out wrong before we even start.
Okay, so CA.
Ca.
So then in parentheses OH parentheses /50.
How many calciums do you have, Lenoir?
1 at 40.1. 40.1.
How many oxygens?
2
At
16.0.
equals
32.
how many hydrogens?
1 or 2, sorry, at 1.0 or 2.0.
Goodness gracious, he is a walking calculator. Mortal 74.1 squared. You've used up all your math
Batteries,
right? You're drained now. That's it. You can only do 5 calculations a day. All right. Here we go. Did you notice that I switched the name? Examples number 1 and 2, I used the word molecular mass. Molecular mass. Example number 2, I said molecular mass. Molecular mass. Example number 3, I said formula mass. Formula mass. Example number 4, I said formula mass. Formula mass.
This is a formula.
They were all formulas. Any other theories?
Is it matter what you call it because it's the same?
Technically incorrect, practically correct. Max.
Because formula mass is used for ionic compounds, and then molecular mass is used for
You go, Matt.
Examples number 1 and 2 were non-metal, non-metal. So those are molecules. So we refer to it as molecular mass. Examples 3 and 4 were metal, non-metals. Those are ionic. We can't refer to them as molecular because they're not molecules. They're ionics. So we use the word formula mass to refer to their total mass, their weight. Okay? But Phoebe said it correctly. It's synonymous. It really doesn't matter. Okay? So,